What's up, everybody? Welcome to this session of Sports Talk 49 live on exclusively on NSPN. We're going to talk about Tampa Bay Buccaneers falling again, 0-2, being swept by the New Orleans Saints 9-0 at home primetime Sunday night, as well as talk about the injuries, the additions, the reunited, and it feels so good. AB and Le'Veon Bell and IR stuff. We're going to talk about all that right here on Sports Talk 49 with you today. But first and foremost, let's just get into a little bit things here. Before we listen to Bruce, we're going to listen to Bruce Arians, we're going to listen to Le'Veon Bell, and we're going to listen to Kevin Minter, who's going to be filling in for Levante David. So the Bucs just had just a rough day. It just seemed like Bounty Gate was, in my opinion, was in full effect. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers just couldn't get anything right, coming in that game against New Orleans. Once Mike Evans went down with a hamstring, Chris Godwin was hitting the kneecap. They were reliant on Jalen Darden, Scotty Miller, and Tyler Johnson, which, in my opinion, none of those guys are ready yet to become the full-time starters. With not only that these guys weren't game planned, to be in these positions to begin with. Granted, in the league, you got to, when duty calls, you got to show up and play, and they just couldn't come through when the team needed them. Tom Brady really struggled, still tried to force the ball to Rob Gronkowski. Saints made adjustments, and they just couldn't get things going in the direction that they wanted to go. But that was the struggle of the game. And, you got to make adjustments, and then you got to play the cards you dealt with, not in addition to Leonard Fournette going out with injury. Then you had to rely on Ronald Jones, and much haven't been seen Keyshawn Vaughn that was forced to step in when duty called as well. All those intangibles happened all at one time in the game. Fortunate for the Buccaneers, they were able to keep all their offensive linemen intact. But they got to make adjustments to what once was their strength of their offense was their wide receiver core. Now it's dismantled. Secondary starting to get healthy again. Now you lose another part of the team. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are facing one of the most adverse seasons they have ever seen in a while. And in addition to Levante David going out to the playoffs, in addition to Chris Godwin going on IR, with Leonard Fournette being out as well. So let me let Bruce Arians talk a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more. Don't be surprised if you see Deshaun, Coach T, Tisdale jump in, and we talk a little bit about this matchup and coming up with the Panthers. Check it out, Bruce Arians.
Ready? Everybody good? All right, now practicing today, Levante David, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Antoine Winfield. Again, very mental practice today, walkthrough style. Big game this week, and hell of an opponent, and we'll be ready.
Coach, you brought in Le'Veon Bell. Can you just tell us what kind of role you think he might carve out for you in the last few
It just depends how fast he can catch up, and he's been a good receiver in the past, and played in this offense in Pittsburgh for a while. So we'll see what he can learn and what he can give us the next few weeks.
As a default, do you think he would be able to be active to dress on Sunday? Do you expect that?
Hopefully, if he's smart enough.
Bruce, you get Antonio Brown back. He has not played in a game in 10 weeks. Do you have a sense in terms of a pitch count or how much you'd be comfortable using him?
We'll play that by ear at the game. Let him tap out anytime he needs to and whatever. But not going against 30 plays, 20 plays, nothing like that. No.
Specifically, in terms of coming back from his ankle, what was he able to do today?
He's fine. He looks like he did before he got hurt.
Coach, do you think Antoine Winfield will be good to go this week? And you ever find out what happened with Jamal Dean? He had an illness and didn't really get to the bottom of it by then.
I do not know about Antoine. We'll see what he can do Thursday and Friday. His foot's still sore. Dean, no, he's fine now. He cleared up. So it might have been residual from the concussion, but never really could put that together.
I apologize if you've been asked about Mike Edwards already, but where is he at from a conditioning standpoint?
He's in really good shape, yeah.
Bruce, overall, this team to deal with the not only the quantity but the significance of the injuries that you're dealing with from Sunday, how do you think they've handled that in terms of kind of coming together to handle?
Yeah, it's just next man up, and some young players' roles have changed. Some are now starting, others are immediate backups. This time of year, you shouldn't be a young player anymore, and you should embrace your role and your opportunity.
How much does it help the fact that like some of those young guys that had some issues with drops and things like that on Sunday, they get a full week of practice now under their belts versus just getting thrust into action unexpectedly?
There's still no excuse for a drop, but it will help. Everybody will play the position they practiced, hopefully, and won't have to switch around like we did in that ball game.
And do you have any idea with Rashad Perryman where he's at from a health standpoint right now?
Very close from what I'm hearing.
Coach, one of your healthy units intact is the offensive line. Without giving away your game plan, is this something you maybe just lean on them these last 3 games?
You lean on them every week. They can't go into a game without being leaned on. If you mean run it more, not necessarily.
Coach, on top of that, you look at Carolina, I think one of the things that really sticks out first is that pass rush with Brian Burns and everyone else. How big of a challenge is that going this week?
Oh, this too. Hassan Reddick, we drafted him in Arizona, and tremendous athlete. Those two guys, they can come off the edge, and they've also got a package where they got 4 fast guys in there. So it's a hell of a challenge.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, Ronald Jones struggled early on in the season in pass protection. You used Keyshawn Vaughn the other day in the throwing downs. Has he improved at all? I know he caught the ball when you threw it to him, but has he improved at all in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, early in the season, he released his guy, But as far as blocking guys, he's been blocking really well, and yeah, he's on top of it now. So I've got all the confidence in the world in both those guys.
And, a year ago, I think it was a struggle for Leonard to handle that role. He finally accepted it, obviously. How has mentally, when you go from nearly 1,000-yard rusher to sitting behind a player that's having a pretty good year, how tough is that?
Well, it's hard. It's hard, but every time he's gotten in a ball game, he's run his ass off. So I like the way he's responded every week.
With Levante and Leonard, do you expect to put them on IR, or is it too early?
It's too early to tell right now.
Bruce, even with the loss Sunday, your magic number to clinch the NFC South is 1. All it takes is 1 to clinch it. Does that help when you're in terms of trying to alleviate any concerns about panic or worry this week?
Yeah, we just want to play better. Go out and win a ball game, play better, and get it over with.
You've been in this league for a long time, so it seems like you've experienced just about every scenario, but have you experienced a scenario like this where you've had such a huge chunk of your offense just wiped out in one game?
Yeah, we lost all 3 quarterbacks one year, so that's a lot. And we went to the playoffs with 1 off the street, so yeah, and lost 4 tackles. So yeah, we've been there down this road many, many times.
Different scenario though because it's multiple players. It's obviously not your quarterback, and offenses go through him. But are you?
It's a little bit easier replacing those guys than offensive linemen and quarterbacks. I promise you.
Bruce, for all that Chris Godwin did, not just catching the ball, but in the run game, is he a harder guy to replace?
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, so he's a focal part of what we do, and it's time for Tyler and some other guys to step up into that role.
I know Tom, his mindset is always, he works so hard, and there's a reason why he's like that. Same thing with Gronk. They both did not have a good game in this last one. Do you think there's a little extra motivation for Gronk and Brady to get back on the same page again?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. That neither one were satisfied. That's for sure, and especially Gronk. The 10 guys around Tom have to play a lot better too to help him out.
You and Bell both had long runs in Pittsburgh that didn't overlap. How do you know him? What's the best way you know him?
Randy Fichtner was the offensive coordinator who was my quarterback coach, and gave him a good recommendation.
You still have every confidence in Ryan. Was Sunday night an aberration?
Yeah. I don't like the missed extra points and those field goals. He's better than that, so hopefully it's fixed.